As well. So the next part of our program is what we call placemaking. So placemaking, in our view, is reinventing an area that has been totally underutilized in the past and replacing obsolete uses with new integrated mixed-use developments. The development community has taken the lead in repositioning many of the underutilized real estate assets, some of which were just referred to, in Boston and the greater Boston community. Examples abound, such as Legacy Place in Dedham, Nordblum at Northwest Park, reinventing that location, Davis Companies in Burlington and Waltham, Harvard's pending Alston long-term plans, and of course the proposed actual getting ready development for the Winds Casino in Everett, a $1.7 billion project. We certainly do not have the time to profile all of these projects. However, we have selected 8 representative developments which will have a profound effect and are having a profound effect on the real estate market locally and the environment across the metropolitan Boston area. We are seeing a combination of extraordinary development and repurposing of obsolete properties into vibrant mixed-use complexes which are mostly heavily dependent on urban transit and will provide pedestrian access, user-friendly developments including retail, office, residential, hotel, and recreational space. Please focus your attention on the screen for this presentation, which involves many millions of square feet of space and literally billions of dollars of capital investment, all of which will inure to the benefit of our economy and our quality of life. Thank you.
Placemaking is something that has really been a big part of our projects for many, many years. And I think it's probably the most exciting part of real estate is just taking a site and imagining what it could be.
We don't design buildings, we really design the space between the buildings. Really the public realm is where we come together, and the more and more our society is digitized, and the more and more we communicate through email and texting, I actually believe the public realm becomes even more valuable.
Technology today is having a huge role in terms of the importance of placemaking. So we have technology pulling people together in a cyber way, but for every force there's another force, right? And there's a huge desire by people to be with each other in a very human way. And because of that, these spaces in between the buildings and the parks that we're creating are becoming actually more important, but maybe most importantly, they're becoming more appreciated.
When you get into the world of master planning, you're really getting into the world of creating a location, as opposed to utilizing an existing location to make it better. We're actually taking a location, and Seaport Square is a very good example. Fan Pier is a good example. Pier 4, 3 master plan projects that are happening at the same time are all after the same goal, to create a sense of place.
Well, I think you're seeing the trend that people want to live near convenience, that everybody's lives are very busy, and that being close to your shopping, your food sources, restaurants, health clubs, all of those things are very desirable.
There were more IPOs in biotech out of Massachusetts last year than out of Silicon Valley. Technology transfer is a contact sport. You really need the students who want to start new companies to talk to entrepreneurs who've been there before. And we have those places, but they're not centralized. So bringing them in one place is amazing.
The number one challenge for a lot of people today is time. And so if you're working and you have a daycare stop, you have to do some other shopping, you have to pick up food to go home that night. If you can do that all in one location, it makes your life a lot easier, it removes a lot of stress.
I think placemaking is really about how does somebody who's working 40 hours a week in a project feel? When they come to work, do they enjoy their environment? Do they like the experience that they have when they go out to lunch or after work have a drink or able to get a workout? Does it feel good?
And one of the things we see and we hear it from a lot of our tenants is the number one challenge is attracting, recruiting, retaining top talent. When people walk into a work environment, they look around and they say to themselves, I can see myself being here, I want to be here. And it's important in terms of productivity, in terms of happiness, in terms of job fulfillment, because the top tier people, everyone wants to recruit these people. They get receiving calls from headhunters, on an ongoing basis, so you have to provide that environment.
One of the first things we said was you have to create energy on the street. You're coming into an area where there was no energy. How do you create energy on the street? And we said, well, the way to do that is retail. And it's not just retail, but it's retail that stays open 18 hours a day. And in all of our retail spaces, we've required our tenants to have outdoor cafe seating on the sidewalk.
When we go about creating new communities, it's really about a retail experience-driven environment.
We don't have haphazard individual development activity block to block to block. And instead, there's a master plan design which provides for wider sidewalks, for better pedestrian flow, and also for a better retail experience. It also calls for retail to occur on the first 2 floors of every building.
For us, it's so important that buildings have a very active ground level, including a variety of different retail uses, restaurants with outdoor seating.
We're retail centric, so a lot of times we think generally in the retail world about how that landscape looks and how the base of these buildings kind of interact.
We've really thought about who the best anchor tenants are going to be, and number one that I've always learned is that in terms of making place, it's the grocery store. It's where families come together. It's where the moms and dads meet up and they talk about the soccer game that just took place. That's where you build communities.
Having Wegmans as our anchor really helped us build the retail, and I believe that the retail set the place to allow a lot of these other uses to come there. The fact that you've got a place with a Wegmans, a Target, a Nordstrom Rack, a bunch of restaurants, it really creates a place that people want to live and revitalize that whole area.
A lot of people come into the Fenway from around the world. There are a lot of people who have lived here for 20 or 30 years, and having all of these people mesh together and feel like it's their neighborhood, to us means that we've done our job.
Place is really not something that you can describe in words. It's really something that you feel and you get a sense of when you're in a place. It attaches itself both to your conscious as well as your subconscious. So a real place is something that you have to experience.
If we can get people to gather and interact in Kendall Square, and that contributes to innovation happening here in a more robust fashion than other places in the world, we have absolutely met with success.
My test, to see if we really succeeded here is when I get into an Uber or a taxi, I say, take me to Ink Block. I don't say take me to 300 Harrison Ave, I say take me to Ink Block. And people know it's become a place, and that was really the idea.